another email from Obama National Security Advisor Susan Rice. I want to go through that in detail. The Rob Porter fallout continues. The media continues to worship at the altar of North Korea and go crazy over tweets from a New York Times writer. But I'm going, and I definitely will talk about the Wakanda stuff, because everybody is going nuts over Wakanda, a place that does not exist, has not existed, and will never exist, but apparently is the great aspiration for black people across the planet or some such. We'll discuss all of those things. But first, I want to say thank you to our sponsors over at Ring.com. So you've heard me talk about Ring's innovative home security camera devices for a while. They've been sending us actual footage of Ring busting crooks in the act. And here is one that I wanted to share with you. This is all just in good fun. This is a fellow trying to break into a house, and then you can see how it all goes wrong because Ring.com is there to thwart his attempts.
Hello?
Hey. Stop
Are you
that.
okay?
Leave my house or I'm calling the police.
Okay, what you need to do...
Hey, leave my house. Stop now or I'm calling the police.
Why would you tell me that?
Because you're trying to push my door in. Leave now.
I'm about to smash what's in there.
I'm calling the police.
Okay, I am the police.
He was not, in fact, the police. The police came and arrested the guy. That's what Ring.com does for you. If you're not home, right, I'm not sure even if the homeowner was home here, you can know right away as soon as somebody rings on the doorbell or knocks at the door. As soon as someone hits that ring button, you know on your app whether someone is at your front door or not, and you can talk directly to them. You can call the police. You can use the Ring Spotlight Cam if you have that to do this at night. And obviously, look, this guy was a nut job, but very often when people are breaking into your house, they ring the doorbell first to make sure that you're not home, and then they break into your house. Well, that's what Ring stops. When you can see what's going on at your front door, you can really stop crime, and it's pretty empowering. With the Ring Floodlight and Spotlight cams, you can build a ring of security around your entire property. Ring lets you protect your home no matter where you are. So I'm 3,000 miles away. I still know when somebody is driving up to my house. You can share your clips to help keep your neighbors on the lookout for suspicious activity. Thieves cannot hide with Ring. Stop crime before it happens. Make your neighborhood safer with Ring. Save up to $150 on a Ring of Security kit at ring.com/Ben. That's ring.com/Ben. Again, $150 off that Ring of Security kit when you go to ring.com/Ben. Who knows? It could be you featured in this video. Hopefully no one tries to break into your house. But if they do, you're going to be happy that you had ring.com and that you used /Ben to get your $150 discount, as well as letting them know that we sent you. All righty. So we begin today with a little covered story that is actually, I think, could be a big story. We don't know enough yet to know, but we'll find out, I think, pretty soon. So on Monday, the Senate Judiciary Committee Senators Charles Grassley and Lindsey Graham sent a letter to former Obama National Security Advisor Susan Rice, and they asked her to explain an email that she actually sent to herself on the last day of the Obama administration. So January 20th, they're all getting ready to go to the inauguration, and Susan Rice is at her keyboard typing out an email to Susan Rice. What exactly is in this email? Well, it explained that President Obama had held a briefing on January 5th regarding a supposed Trump-Russia collusion. So according to the letter from Grassley and Graham to Rice, it says, if the timestamp is correct, you sent this email to yourself at 12:15 p.m., presumably a very short time before you departed the White House for the last time. In this email to yourself, you purport to document a meeting that had taken place more than 2 weeks before on January 5th, 2017. So like the last minute she's in the White House, she's sending herself an email about a meeting that was held in the White House between James Comey, the then FBI director, the Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates. Both of these people have been fired or are gone from the Trump administration. Vice President Biden was present, and Susan Rice was president, and President Obama was present. So what actually happened at this meeting? According to the email that Susan Rice sent to Susan Rice, says this, quote, on January 5th, following a briefing by IC leadership, intelligence community leadership, on Russian hacking during the 2016 presidential election, President Obama had a brief follow-on conversation with FBI Director Jim Comey and Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates in the Oval Office. Vice President Biden and I were also present. President Obama began the conversation by stressing his continued commitment to ensuring that every aspect of this issue is handled by the intelligence and law enforcement communities, quote-unquote, by the book. The president stressed he is not asking about initiating or instructing anything from a law enforcement perspective. He reiterated that our law enforcement team needs to proceed as it normally would by the book. So that's twice she says by the book. From a national security perspective, however, President Obama said he wants to be sure that as we engage with the incoming team, we are mindful to ascertain if there is any reason that we cannot share information fully as it relates to Russia. The president asked Comey to inform him if anything changes in the next few weeks that should affect how we share classified information with the incoming team, and Comey said that he would. So there are a bunch of things about this email that Rice sent to Rice that should be disturbing. First of all, why was she sending a memo to herself? The only reason that you send a memo to yourself, legally speaking, as a lawyer, the only reason you do that is to create a paper trail. So she wanted a paper trail suggesting that this meeting was totally hunky-dory, which is why it says twice in the email that this was all happening, quote unquote, by the book. That in and of itself is suspicious. Second, how exactly would Obama have planned to prevent the intelligence community from handing over information to the incoming commander-in-chief? I mean, that's disturbing stuff. We talk about violation of presidential norms. Well, one of the presidential norms is not just norms, what is the law, is that when the chief executive comes in, when the commander-in-chief enters, he now has access to all the classified materials. But here is Obama saying to Comey, tell me what I should not tell the president of the United States, the president-elect of the United States. Tell me what I should not tell him. The implication being that the outgoing administration was going to hide information about the incoming administration from the incoming administration with regard to, quote-unquote, Trump-Russia collusion. Right? Trump has full constitutional power over the executive branch, including the IC. But Obama said he might want to prevent the full sharing of information regarding Russia. I mean, talk about violation of norms. Shift the names here, and then imagine the fallout. Imagine that George W. Bush, in the last days of his administration, had into his office the heads of his intelligence community and Vice President Cheney, and he said to them, listen, I'm very suspicious of this Obama guy. It seems like he has a lot of conflicting feelings about the United States. What if we just don't give him all the information? What if we just keep that hidden? People would say, well, that's insane. I mean, he's the president-elect of the United States. He can't do that. The president-elect of the United States is owed this information. And yet that's apparently exactly what Obama was talking about. Third, Obama said he didn't want to interfere with anything from a law enforcement perspective, but how about from an intelligence gathering perspective? So Andy McCarthy over at National Review has been aces on this. He says since the beginning, there's been a major distinction people have missed between the Mueller investigation as a counterintelligence investigation and the Mueller investigation as a criminal investigation. These are not the same thing. A counterintelligence investigation is an investigation where you're attempting to determine if someone's trying to influence our elections, if somebody in the United States is maybe working with those people, but it is not a criminal investigation in the sense that you need to gather evidence for possible prosecution. Well, Obama seems to be making the same distinction. He's not saying we're going to prosecute anyone from the Trump administration. He is saying that we're in the middle of a counterintelligence investigation, and maybe that means that we shouldn't hand over information to Trump. So Grassley and Graham asked a series of questions that do deserve answers from Susan Rice. She's not famous for giving forthright answers to straight questions. Some of these questions, why did Rice send the email in the first place? When was she aware of the Trump-Russia collusion investigation? Because if this meeting was about the Trump-Russia collusion investigation, and they were using that as an excuse not to hand over information to Trump and team, that's a problem. Was Susan Rice aware of the FISA warrants on Carter Page? Was the Obama administration using a thinly obtained FISA warrant on Carter Page in order to target the Trump administration for future curbs on their intelligence gathering? Did Comey or Yates mention any media coverage of the Steele dossier? Was Susan Rice aware of the Steele dossier? Were there any more meetings of this sort? You know, we don't know the answers to any of these questions, but we better get the answers to some of these questions because this is a violation of serious norms. We keep hearing over and over again that the Trump administration has breached norms. This is not normal. We hear that all the time. And listen, I'm the first to say when I think something that is not normal is going on. I don't think that it's normal to have this level of turnover in the White House in the first year. I don't think that it's normal, the President of the United States, to say what he said after Charlottesville or for him to suggest that he doesn't want Haitian immigrants. I don't think that it's normal for the President of the United States to be making excuses for an alleged child molester in Alabama or for him to suggest that a guy on his own staff there's evidence of wife beating, that guy says he's innocent and therefore meh. Right? I don't think that any of that is normal. But if we're going to talk about breaches of normality that actually go to the heart of the system, this is one of them. For all the talk about Trump being the incipient tyrant, the Hitlerian figure who is going to come in and overthrow all constitutional boundaries, just destroy the Constitution piece by piece, that's not what's happened. The norms that Trump has destroyed have been norms of behavior. That's bad, right? That's stuff that I don't like because a lot of those norms I think are good. But if you're talking about who perverted institutions, the Obama administration perverted institutions far more than the Trump administration has. I mean, this is the Obama administration had an attorney general who now wants to talk about running for president, who called himself the president of the United States' wingman. The Obama administration militarized the IRS for use against conservative nonprofits. The IRS had to apologize for that just in recent months. The Obama administration used the HHS as a center of corruption under Kathleen Sebelius. The Obama administration was utilizing the FBI in order to let Hillary Clinton off the hook. Right? The Obama administration corrupted institution after institution. So when we talk about violation of norms, that's where we should start. You know, everybody's focused on the shiny object of the silliness of some of the stuff happening inside the Trump administration. But when we talk about norms that have been destroyed and violated, that did not begin with Trump. Trump is a response to violation of norms. And the American public said, fine, you want to violate some norms? We will violate all norms. How about that? And ironically, the norms that have been reinstated are those constitutional checks and balances. The norms that have been broken are the cultural taboos that, in many cases, probably should have stood in the first place. And none of that is good. Now, in a few minutes, I'm going to talk about some of the norms that have been violated by the Trump administration, and one that has not been violated, but the media are looking for an excuse to say that has been violated. But first, I want to say thank you to our sponsors over at LegalZoom. So small business is a hot topic this year. That means that National Business Small Month at LegalZoom is coming at just the right time. Look, your business is starting to boom. The economy is doing well. And now you're in growth mode. Well, that means you better get papered up. Okay, as a lawyer, I'm just telling you, you need to make sure that everything is covered. You do not have time or money to waste on bad contracts. You do not have time or money to waste when it comes to making a will or a living trust, right? You need to make sure that you are covered, and that's what LegalZoom is for. The new tax law includes the most significant changes for business owners in the last 30 years. LegalZoom can help you understand what that means for you. They're not a law firm. They have a network of independent tax professionals and attorneys to answer your questions about taxes and everything else. LegalZoom understands you need to tap right into the resources to run a successful business, which is why they are using their 16 years of experience to provide business owners with the tools to start and run the business the right way. It's pretty amazing. I mean, I remember when LegalZoom was just wills and trusts, and now they've got legal advice that's available through their network of professionals. You can keep listening over the next few weeks and find out how LegalZoom can help you during National Small Business Month, and you're not going to want to miss out. In the meantime, check out LegalZoom.com today. Get special savings when you enter Ben in the referral box at checkout. There's a referral box that pops up. Check Ben, right? Enter Ben there, and you get some special savings. LegalZoom is where life meets legal. LegalZoom.com. I've been using LegalZoom for years, long before they were an advertiser. They're a fantastic service, and they're only getting better and more sophisticated as time goes on. LegalZoom.com for all your legal needs, and check Ben in the referral box at checkout for some special savings as well. Okay, so the media, while they haven't been focusing on the violation of institutional norms by the Obama administration, they're focusing in on supposed breaches of protocol by the Trump administration. Well, some of those breaches are actual breaches, right? Like, why was Omarosa working in the Trump administration? So Omarosa Manigault was on The Apprentice, fired 3 times, and then Trump hired her for the White House and then fired her again. And now she's on Celebrity Big Brother, where apparently there are rumors that she was slipping out of her robe. I haven't actually watched the show, and now I have no desire to do so. But Omarosa actually, on the show last night, she ripped into Mike Pence.
Can I just say this? As bad as y'all think Trump is, you would be worried about Pence.
I know.
So everybody that's wishing for impeachment
No.
might want to reconsider their life.
Absolutely.
We would be begging for days of Trump back if Pence became president. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, the violation of norms that went on here is why in the hell was this woman anywhere near power? She was a celebrity reality TV contestant, and then she was ousted, and now she's back on celebrity reality TV. I mean, there's a hell of a career arc. To go from reality TV to the White House and back to reality TV, just spectacular. But is that violation of presidential norms severely damaging to the United States in the same way as, say, a prior administration refusing to hand over intelligence data? I don't think so. And the media have been attempting to spot violations of norms in every nook and cranny, right? Everywhere. There are violations of norms. This is not normal. This is what they're constantly